It's day 23. We're getting closer. Well, today I want to share another one of my favorite Christmas stories. And the backdrop for this story is my nativity scene. It was actually my parents purchased in Bethlehem, the actual city of Bethlehem, little town of Bethlehem, in 1976. Well, this is entitled A Family for Freddie, Part 1. I remember the first time I saw Freddie. He was standing in his playpen at the adoption agency where I work. He gave me a toothy grin. What a beautiful baby, I thought. His boarding mother gathered him into her arms. Will you be able to find a family for Freddie? And then I saw it. Freddie had been born without arms. He's so smart. He's only 10 months old. Already he walks and talks. She kissed him. Say book for Mrs. Blair. Freddie grinned at me, hid his head on the boarding mother's shoulder. Now, Freddie, don't act that way, she said. He's really very friendly, she added. Such a good boy. Freddie reminded me of my own son when he was that age. The same thick, dark curls, the same brown eyes. You won't forget him, Mrs. Blair. You'll try. I won't forget. I went upstairs and got out my latest copy of the hard-to-place list. Freddie is a 10-month-old white Protestant boy of English and French background. He has brown eyes, dark hair, fair skin. Freddie was born without arms, but is otherwise in good health. His boarding mother feels he is showing signs of superior mentality, and he's already walking and saying a few words. Freddie is a warm, affectionate child who's been surrendered by his natural mother and is ready for adoption. He's ready, I thought, but who's ready for him? It was 10 o'clock of a lovely late summer morning, and the agency was full of couples having interviews, couples meeting babies, families being born. These couples nearly always have the same dream. They want a child as much like them as possible, as young as possible, and most important, a child with no medical problems. If he develops a problem after we get him, they say, that's a risk we'll take, just like any other parents. But to pick a baby who already has a problem, well, that's too much. And who can blame them? I wasn't alone in looking for parents for Freddie. Any of the caseworkers meeting a new couple started with a hope. Maybe they were the ones for Freddie. But summer slipped into fall, and Freddie was with us for his first birthday. Freddie is so big. And Freddie, laughing, would say, so big. And then I found them. It started out, as it always does, an impersonal record in my box, a new case, a new home study, two people who wanted a child. They were Frances and Edwin Pearson. She was 41, he was 45. She was a housewife, he was a truck driver. I went to see them. They lived in a tiny white frame house in a big yard full of sun and old trees. They greeted me together at the door, eager, scared to death. Mrs. Pearson produced steaming coffee and oven-warm cookies. They sat before me on the sofa, close together, holding hands. After a moment, Mrs. Pearson began. Today's our wedding anniversary, 18 years. Good years. Mr. Pearson looked at his wife. Except. Yes, she said. Except. Always the except. She looked around the immaculate room. She said, it's just too neat. You know? And I thought of my own living room with my 3 children, teenagers now. Yes, I said, I know. Perhaps we're too old. I smiled. You don't think so, I said. We don't either. You always think it will be this month. And then next month, Mr. Pearson said. Examinations, tests, all kinds of things, over and over, but nothing ever happened. You just go on hoping, and time keeps slipping by. Well, join me tomorrow on Christmas Eve for part 2.